Hello, I'm Steve Goad from the Business Development Center at Old Dominion University. I have the privilege of sitting down and chatting today with Greg Tomchick from Valor. Give me that again, Valor
Cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity. Oh, and you've got an actual workshop coming up here in April with us, don't you?
Yes, we do. Yeah, it's going to be a pleasure. Steve, great to join you here. It's on April 19th.
Yeah, and that's from the Business Development Center. And we're going to make the YouTube video available, not only talking about the upcoming workshop, but also will be available even afterwards. So it will hopefully have some longevity to it. Well, a couple of things is, Greg, we hear quite a bit about cybersecurity. And there's threats out there. But if I'm a small business, why should I worry about that?
Yeah, I think it starts with everybody has something to protect. Whatever you're building, whether you're a defense contractor, you're building software, building planes, whatever you're building, there's aspects of that need to be protected, both physically and digitally. So when you think about cybersecurity, it's really the convergence of the physical and the digital. A lot of times folks, especially in the defense contracting world, focus just on the physical because they're building these physical parts and pieces that are going on these wider ships and planes. And a lot of times you don't think that there's a risk of that intellectual property, but there really is at the end of the day. Just a little bit of background, how we came about. My business partner and I were both defense contractors. We've always been huge supporters of their mission to support the American warfighter. And as contractors, we were able to see the difficulties in implementing these cybersecurity measures to be able to protect, what we're going after, to kind of have the leg up on the competitors when it comes to that warfighting mission. So we saw the pain points, we saw the obstacles, and we wanted to create a solution that was able to reduce the costs, both from a time and a money standpoint. And as we know, small businesses, have constraints within their business model. They don't have billions of dollars to spend on security. So we've been able to come up with some creative solutions that help folks, especially small business owners, to make sense of this stuff, put things in place, and be able to benefit from the rewards of saving time and money during that process. And that's critical for any small business owners today.
No, it's any small business, but is it now, are you dealing with any small business, or you're concentrating on businesses that are selling services and products to the government, or both?
Yeah, so primarily we focus on defense contractors. We also support software development companies, so SaaS companies, as well as investment companies. And we're seeing these verticals really being most impacted by cybersecurity requirements, whether that's coming from customers, that customer could be the government, or from regulators, such as NYDFS and PCI, HIPAA. You have these different regulations that are coming about, but it's all related to supply chain. It's all related to who they're serving and how they're creating products that need to be protected. We've been able to build a great team of experts that help folks from the different areas of cybersecurity kind of get that holistic view.
So the workshop that is coming up, are you going to really focus more on the government contractors or the small businesses that are dealing? When I say government contractors, everybody keeps thinking of the large airplane companies or large weapon companies. But the people, I guess, do not realize there's quite a few small businesses that are providing a variety of services to government agencies. So is the workshop coming up, you're going to focus on those type of businesses?
Absolutely. This is mostly focused on small to medium sized defense contractors. So we have about 500 in our local community here across Hampton Roads, and really across Virginia. That number continues to increase. And we just saw early on in our careers that a lot of cyber expertise, the barrier was too high for those contractors to get the expertise they needed to address, what we call DFARS requirements, which is really any contracting requirement around cybersecurity. And what we do in these types of training sessions is lay out an action plan where a small business, whether they're 5 people with 1 contract or they're 100 people with a few contracts, they can look at what the best path forward is for them. It's not a one size fits all. but we try to give them some of the general lessons we've learned through implementing CMMC and DFARS, so that really they can save time and money at the end of the day. And that's our main goal with this type of training session, is to give them some of our lessons learned, recognize the pain points they're going through, and allow them to walk away a little bit better off than they came in.
I ran into one company, not well, one of the people companies we've met along the way here, and I mentioned something about cybersecurity, and they're doing some government contracting work, and their response was, "Well, we have insurance." Is that the position these businesses should take? Just go out and get an insurance policy, so if there's something goes wrong, they're covered.
Yeah, that's always been the easy button up to this point. It's now becoming a vetting mechanism to have a certain level of cybersecurity protections in place. You can have the insurances, you can have some basics in place, but that's going to allow your competitors, when it comes to actually contracting, to be a step ahead of you for those that are actually implementing it. And that's the biggest thing. If these small government contractors can't get contracts because the bigger contractors have cybersecurity protections in place, that puts them at a disadvantage where they can't grow their business. So we want to be that forcing function that allows them to do so.
So it's actually, they can have the insurance, which will meet a minimum requirement. If I've got not only the insurance plus some processes and procedures that are documented, gives you that, when you're competing, gives you that little bit of a leg up on consideration.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve, we see a lot of contractors that may have the technical components in place from what these contracts are requiring, but they don't have the documentation. And that's what we've always kind of specialized in, going to the leaders, asking these questions. And maybe you take 5 hours, to save yourself, 10, 20, 30 hours on actually applying for and bidding on contracts, because you have your house in order, you have the documents in place that are going to explain how you're addressing these requirements, and it makes everybody sleep better at the end of the day.
Yeah, are you seeing is there more of a heightened, I guess, awareness, or more of an attention by the government to get these, to hire contractors, which has these process and procedure in place?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've seen the contractors kind of set aside bids that don't have certain requirements, and today they call it a SPURS score. So it's really a risk rating system that you submit to your prime contractor. They take that score. You kind of have a scoreboard, just like in sports, where people are ranked based off of how they're addressing some of these measures from a security standpoint. And it becomes who has the highest score and who has the best qualifications. And a lot of times the big contractors are beating out these small contractors, and we want to see them grow as businesses, because that's great for everybody involved in the economy around here. Now,
this upcoming online event, what could a participant, someone signs up for, what should they be expecting?
Yeah, so we call the training the CMMC compliance formula and action plan. So we're really going to give some, raw, what these are pain points we see companies of this size with these types of contracts, facing from an obstacle standpoint, and how we've been able to get over those obstacles with, real life engagements, and really an action plan they can take away and take back to their team to say, here's where I think we are from a preparation standpoint, and here are the next steps we need to take based off of what we're going to deliver, along with a free ebook as well.
Okay. The one question I've got, and this will be the last question, series of questions, is I'm just curious, what's with all the baseball stuff behind you?
Yeah, it's a great question, Steve. I'm
one of those naturally curious people, like, wow, a lot of baseball stuff.
Yeah, so you got Princess Anne High School, ODU, a couple minor league teams, and then the St. Louis Cardinals. So local guy, grew up around here and was able to, I guess, fall into baseball. Someone put me on a mound, and eventually I learned to throw it pretty hard, and took me up to the minor leagues with a couple good bus rides, and it's been a pleasurable journey this far. So
that's something else you can share with people later on. But so I'm picking up that you know what it takes to be competitive.
Yeah, it's definitely a game of failure. So I've kind of seen a thing and heard a thing, and worked through a couple obstacles. So I definitely take those lessons into the business world as well.
Oh, sorry, it would transition into the business. So you know how to be competitive and know what it takes and
Yeah.
be out there.
Yeah.
But what I would invite anyone who's interested just to sign up for our event. We'll be putting some information on that, not only for the upcoming live event, but also so later on, if you don't get a chance to attend that event, that you could watch the video of it later on at your leisure. Greg, if someone was interested in just, they can't make the event, but they would like to follow up with you and have a little bit of a chat of what's going on and where they need to be, how would they get a hold of you?
Yeah, we're happy to do it. There's no paywall or hourly rate to do so. My email is greg, Greg at Valor, VALOR -cybersecurity.com. You can check me out on LinkedIn, LinkedIn /Greg-Tomchick. That's a pretty easy way to get a hold of us. Or you go on our website, valor-cybersecurity.com. Our phone number is right there. Feel free to give us
So
a
you're
call.
just opening yourself up right to the world, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, opening.
Yeah.
Well, what I'll do is
Accessibility.
for those that are going like, so you don't have to go back and forth on the tape here. What I'll do is I'll actually at the end of the video here, I'll put that up so you can grab it and read it. But Greg, I want to thank you very much for taking the time today to sit down and chat with us at the Business Development Center on the road to success. But look forward to this workshop coming up.
Perfect. Yeah, we're looking forward to it, creating some value for the folks in our community. Steve, it's always a pleasure, and looking forward to continually impacting folks.
All right. Again, Steve Goad from the Business Development Center at ODU. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much, Steve.